the warrior king who died in battle. The sands of Egypt whisper tales of legendary pharaohs. Names like Tutankhamun, Ramses, Cleopatra echo through millennia. We picture golden masks, towering pyramids, and divine rulers presiding over a majestic civilization. But history, like the Nile, has hidden currents, concealing stories of kings whose reigns were marked not just by grandeur, but by brutal conflict and violent ends. Today, on Past Forward, we unearth the story of a forgotten warrior king, a pharaoh who met his end not peacefully in his palace, but amidst the bloody chaos of battle. Meet Sennacherib, the king who rode into legend and fell under the axe. Egypt was fractured. Powerful foreign rulers, the Hyksos, controlled the north from their capital of Aras. To the south, the mighty kingdom of Kush in Nubia posed a constant threat. And squeezed between these forces were smaller, independent Egyptian dynasties vying for power. It was a time of instability, shifting alliances, and constant warfare. Somewhere in the middle of this chaos, ruling from the ancient city of Abydos, reigned a king named Sennacherib. For centuries, Sennacherib was little more than a phantom, a name lost to time. His dynasty, the Abydos dynasty, was a historical footnote, overshadowed by the more powerful Theban kings to the south who would eventually reunite Egypt and usher in the glorious new kingdom. But in 2014, archaeologists from the University of Pennsylvania, digging near the massive tomb complex of Pharaoh Senusret III at South Abydos, stumbled upon a discovery that would bring Sennacherib crashing back into the historical record. They found his tomb. Modest by pharaonic standards, it had sadly been plundered in antiquity. Robbers had ripped apart the king's mummy, scattering his bones. Yet, amidst the debris, the archaeologists recovered the fragments of a cedar coffin, funerary jars, and crucially, the king's skeleton. And it was this skeleton that held the most startling secrets. He was tall for his time, standing perhaps close to 6 feet. But it wasn't his stature that shocked the researchers, it was the evidence of extreme violence etched into his very bones. Sennacherib's skeleton bore the marks of no fewer than 18 devastating wounds. These weren't accidental injuries or post-mortem damage. These were vicious cuts and blows that penetrated deep into the bone, inflicted with brutal force. His feet, ankles, and knees showed deep gashes. His hands bore defensive wounds, suggesting a desperate struggle. His lower back was slashed. And then there were the fatal blows, 3 massive impacts to his skull, delivered with such power that they matched the distinctive shape of bronze duckbill axes, the fearsome battle axes wielded by Egyptian soldiers during the Second Intermediate Period. The pattern of injuries told a grim story. The wounds to his lower legs and back suggested Sennacherib was likely mounted on horseback when the attack began, a significant detail, as horses were still a relatively recent introduction to Egypt, primarily used by the elite. He was likely a skilled rider, a warrior king leading his men from the front. The attackers struck upwards, hacking at his legs and ankles, perhaps aiming to bring him down from his mount. The severe cut to his right ankle would have been crippling. Once unhorsed and likely on the ground, his assailants finished the job with merciless blows to the head. This wasn't an assassination in the dark or a ritual execution. The sheer number and nature of the wounds pointed to a chaotic, violent encounter. Sennacherib died in the thick of battle, overwhelmed by multiple attackers. He became the earliest pharaoh known to have met such a fate on the battlefield. But where did this final, fatal battle take place? Evidence suggests Sennacherib didn't die near his home city of Abydos. The way his body was mummified indicates a delay between his death and the embalming process. His body had already begun to decompose. Perhaps he fell in a distant battle against the Hyksos kings in the north, or maybe fighting Nubian invaders from the south, or even rival Egyptian factions like the powerful Thebans. His body might have lain exposed for some time before being recovered and transported back to Abydos for burial. Sennacherib's violent end provides a stark window into the brutal realities of the Second Intermediate Period. He wasn't just a divine ruler performing ceremonies, he was a warrior king who lived, rode, fought, and ultimately died for his kingdom in a fractured Egypt. His story, recovered from scattered bones in a plundered tomb, reminds us that behind the golden facade of pharaonic power often lay the harsh realities of war and the ultimate sacrifice. What other forgotten kings and hidden histories lie waiting beneath the Egyptian sands? What tales of courage, conflict, and intrigue are yet to be unearthed? The past is never truly dead, it just waits to be rediscovered. If you found the story of the warrior pharaoh Senebkay fascinating, make sure you dig deeper into history with us. Subscribe to Past Forward and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the hidden corners of the past. What lesser known historical figures or events intrigue you? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep looking forward by looking back.